as excited to be here as we are. Welcome to the Glam Bachelorette podcast. I'm your official podcast host, Maya Milan Get Right. This episode is the first official episode of 2023, and this is our official relaunch episode. So we are back. I'm so super excited to be here. First things first, if you are new here, thank you for joining us on our official relaunch. And if you are a returning listener, welcome back. The Glam Bachelorette is a podcast platform that celebrates, centers, and explores the lives of successful and striving single child-free women. Second to that, this is your hub for all things fashion, culture, finance, travel, beauty, health, and everything in between from the scope of women. And just as a side note, as a part of our relaunch, we will be revising, adding, and updating features of our podcast, starting with our brand new official theme song, intro music. Yes, if you enjoy what you hear, please join our tribe by commenting, sharing, liking, subscribing, and becoming a member. Our new official website will also be open to the public very soon, so if you'd like to be one of the first to learn all about our new offerings and content, follow us on social media at the Glam Bachelorette on Instagram and Twitter. So in today's official relaunch episode, we will talk a bit about 2022, the year in review, and 2023, what's new? Headlines, fashion, music, culture, economy, finance, politics, what things mean for women, and how women may be affected. So let's get into it. There's been quite a lot happening in our world since the Glam Bachelorette originally launched in February of 2021. Since that time, we have pushed through COVID and all of its social and political implications, just to now be in the midst of another global economic and social change. In the last few years, there has been no shortage of hot button issues where women are concerned. And this, of course, includes single and child-free women who we over here at the Glam Bachelorette affectionately call RGBs. Okay? So we are starting this segment off with something that I think is pretty positive. According to a happiness expert, women are happier without children or a spouse. Ha! I'm sure some of us already knew this. And they are more likely to live longer than their married and child-rearing peers. This revelation is according to behavioral scientist Paul Dolan, who says that traditional markers of success no longer apply. In an article published by The Guardian in May of 2019, Paul Dolan, a professor of behavioral science at the London School of Economics, said the latest evidence showed that the traditional markers used to measure success did not correlate with happiness, particularly when we're talking about marriage and raising children. Paul Dolan then goes on to say that if you're a man, you should probably get married. But if you're a woman, don't bother, okay? Paul Dolan says the healthiest and happiest population subgroup are women who never married or had children. This is a big deal, you guys. In Dolan's book, Happy Ever After, he cites evidence pulled from the American Time Youth Survey, which compares the levels of pleasure and misery in unmarried, married, divorced, separated, and widowed individuals. Dolan also asserts that while there are seemingly financial and health benefits involved in marriage for both men and women, men showed more health benefits from marrying when compared to women's health, which did not change or was unaffected by marriage. However, middle-aged married women appeared to be at a greater risk for physical and mental conditions than single middle-aged women. Now, while there are obvious noted benefits to a woman remaining single and child-free, Dolan does go on to further say that the stigma placed on women can make single women feel unhappy because they are single. And to take things further, another separate article that also cites Dolan's work stated through additional research that singlehood for women is increasingly viewed as desirable. In an article published by Psychology Today that includes data analyst Mintel, women are more satisfied with being single than men and less likely to look for a relationship. This is partially explained by the fact that women do more work in their relationships than men. And Professor Emily Grundy of University of Essex says women are more involved in social networks as compared to men and tend to be better at having alternative social networks and other confidants. So even as a Glam Bachelorette, I can say that the women that I'm surrounded by are super busy. There's attorneys, there's young entrepreneurs, there's C-suite junior executives. There's a lot going on in the business realm for women, in addition to a lot of them going back to school for their master's degrees, for their doctorate degrees. And even though we are single and child-free, there's still a lot of responsibility that women take on when it comes to family, nieces and nephews, cousins, aunties, uncles, your parents, just women usually have an extensive network of people that they are in contact with, they have intimate relationships with, and so on and so forth. So when they say this, that it makes total sense that compared to men, and women tend to be better at having alternative social networks when compared to men. Now, when it comes to the finances of single child free women, according to Bloomberg, there's also a financial payoff involved for women that forego marriage and children. Research via the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis says that single women without kids have an average of $65,000 in wealth, compared to single mothers that had approximately $7,000 in reserve. This is based on statistics released in 2019, so obviously these numbers may be a bit different because now we're in 2023, but the information is still a rather big deal when we talk about the differences between single and child-free women and women with children. The article continues to say that not only does being child-free leave single women with significantly more in their bank accounts, but it also gives them more freedom and independence, right? You can obviously go and do as you please when you don't have the responsibility of, family. This concept makes total sense. Obviously, if you are able to get a great return on your return on investment and do not have to output the additional expenses of raising children, then yes, you indeed have more opportunity for wealth building. And as a single child free woman, this to me is very, very important. Okay. Wealth and poverty and those concepts in terms of economy affects quality of life as we get older. And so yeah, I think all single child free women should obviously continue to grow and build. Forbes also reports surprising facts. A study says now an approximate 20% of older adults, as of year 2018, aged 55 to 64, collectively are living child free. Now, this alongside the stat that childless older adults tend to be more educated, with 38% having a bachelor's degree compared to 30% of those with children. Now, while these are positives, the Forbes article does also say that childless older adults are more at risk of poverty. The study does, however, make an important distinction, again, between child-free older women compared to older men. The study indicates men and women have far different experiences when it comes to not having children, and that childless older women appear to be in a more advantageous position than their male counterparts in later life. So, this is according to researchers. Childless women have the highest median net worth of all Americans 55 and older, with $173,800 each. I repeat, childless women have the highest median net worth of all Americans 55 and older, with $173,800 each. This is according to the study, while the median personal net worth of all adults 55 and older, that includes men, was approximately $133,500. So women without children even had a higher median net worth than fathers, who had approximately $161,200.
Hear more by visiting the Glam Bachelorette podcast.